Alright, so all this stuff that you see right here is actually for a current project that I'm working on. I'm actually matting and framing some prints, which I will have on my website for sale. So, you know, we have the little plastic sleeves here. We got 100 of them right there, and we have, I think, 20. We got some board backings and some mats, some white ones because I already have some black ones, and then some more backings for those ones as well. So looks like we got a lot of work to do. Alright guys, so we stepped away from the working table a little bit, but I just came outside for some fresh air and hanging out with the orange tree. But really quick, I just want to touch on the process of printing your work and you know, just starting out with a photograph and turning it into a final product. Now there's something about, you know, just taking the photo, and then you go home, you develop it, and then you scan it. Then you go to the shop and you select the different papers, the different grades, the different stock, and you have the print shop print out your images. Then after you print out your images, you go through the process of finding supplies, different mats, different sleeves, backing boards, and such like that. And that entire process of you first seeing the image, capturing it, developing it, all the way up to the very end where you have the final tangible product in your hand, you know, it's something else. It's something that is worth doing. It's very rewarding. So I'm really enjoying printing my work. This is probably like the first time I've ever seen, you know, some of my images inside of a sleeve, inside of a mat. It's great to see. I love it. So here's an abstract print, and then here is a lady in the bus. But if you guys are looking into picking up one of my prints, you guys can check out KingJvpes.com. I will leave a link down in the description below to the website where you can purchase these. I do ship worldwide as well. So yeah, that's the process. I love the process. But I think right now I got a little caught up working on this stuff right here. So I think I'm gonna go out and shoot originally what I wanted to do today. Okay, so that's about how much I got done today. We'll continue on the stack later, but I literally have a couple more inside of that box that still need to be done, but I'm gonna stop here and then continue on with the rest of the day. So what I'm gonna do real quick is, there's this really dope shadow casting on that little, I guess you could say pathway, the walkway. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait for a person to walk through it so I get the shadow and a silhouette kind of a way there. Here we go. Fire. Alright guys, so it's the next day. I didn't get to finish the roll, but I have the camera with me now. I still have maybe like 10 more shots in, but I've been getting a lot of questions on how I can take candids of people, how to not be afraid, how to capture them in the frame, and overall, you know, just tips on how to take pictures of people without them getting mad or without them noticing or just completely going off on you. So what I'm going to do today is I have the Olympus OM2n and I also have the ghetto GoPro strapped on the top here. This is my favorite little setup. I'm gonna go out today and show you guys how I do that. So I'm gonna take some candid portraits of folks here. Along the way, I'll give you guys tips on how I can do that, how I achieve that, and overall just show you guys exactly my process when it comes to doing so. So let's go ahead, turn on the GoPro, and let's get to work. Catch anything today, boss? Did you catch anything? You caught one? Alright, good luck. Of course, yeah, no worries. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so the ghetto GoPro is dead. I forgot to charge it like a dummy, but I captured some images of some folks down that way walking around, and it was pretty simple to do, and I'm going to tell you guys how I do that. So the first thing you need to learn is the rule of thirds. If you guys don't know what the rule of thirds is, it's basically when you divide your screen into a grid. So you have two lines coming down here and then you have two across. Once you get rule of thirds down, you want to learn it. You want to learn about focal points. You got one focal point here, you got one here, one down here, one right here. All right, so those are your 4 focal points. Also keep in mind that each section of the frame is divided into 3. So you got frame 1, frame 2, and frame 3. Okay, and it works for vertical as well. Frame 1 up here, frame 2, and frame 3. So that's what the rule of thirds is. You can use those focal points as, I guess you could say, an area to compose your photo. All right, so what I do is basically, let me go ahead and use this let me use this right here as an example, this pole. All right, so here's the pole, right? Okay, now with the rule of thirds, this is in the center of the frame, you could say, right in the middle. Now instead, when you're taking a photo of somebody and you have the camera straight on, obviously they're gonna know that you're taking a photo of them. If you want to be able to take that Canon shot of them, what you could do is use the rule of thirds and put them in a third of the frame. Okay, so now the camera is actually facing that way. And what happens is people will generally think, okay, they're not taking a picture of me because I'm that way. They don't realize that your lens is wide enough to capture them in the frame on the left side here. All right, so use the rule of thirds. Get them on the left side, use that focal point, frame them in and take the shot. Or you can do it the other way as well. Use them on the right side of the frame here and then take the shot. But what you want to do is make sure that you have that down so that when you use the rule of thirds, it looks like you're pointing straight, but in reality, you still have them in the frame. That's basically what I've been doing for the longest time, using that rule of thirds rule, you know, composing them in one of those focal points, either in a third of the frame or on the given 4 points on the frame as well. Over time, you'll gain more confidence, and then eventually you'll be able to just take photos of them straight up in their face. You know, it sounds kind of mean, it sounds kind of rude, but that's part of the beauty of street photography, going out there, being ambitious, taking photos of folks, and you know, just capturing the everyday life. Right here we have what looks like 2 people, I guess they could say, playing badminton. I'm gonna set the camera up in an angle and I'm gonna try to get a good shot of them too. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so it's pretty much dead now. There's really nobody out here anymore, but I have maybe four more shots left on the OM2n. Lately I've been wanting to go out and just shoot in general, but I noticed, you know, like, why shoot without a purpose? You know what I mean? We all do photography for a certain reason. Maybe it's to take photos of a loved one, maybe it's to capture family moments, or maybe it's just, if you're like me, shooting street photography. But I realized there was no real story or real impact behind my photographs, something that I want to have in order to tell a story, you know, have a theme towards it. And so after some thought, I developed an idea of my first photo project. This is actually going to be a zine that I'm going to take seriously. I've done zines before, but I want to do this zine that revolves around the parent and the child relationship. there's always those intricate, delicate moments between a parent and their child that we see and we capture. And so happiness, sometimes it's sad, sometimes it's angry, you know what I mean? So capturing the essence of that and just the beauty within that is kind of the idea behind my first photo project. So for the next maybe month or so, I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to get some new photos for the zine. I'm on a new mission, and I have a purpose to actually go out and shoot. And it's also very motivating. I'm going to be shooting a lot with the Olympus OM2n and the Nikon F3 in particular for this project, just because I feel like, you know, these two cameras are a little bit easier for me to function with, especially because of the aperture priority on it. The X700 I use mainly for portrait work when I do on film, so Minolta gang's gonna have to wait off on that one. But that's what's going on now. I'm actually walking back to the car. Like I said, it's pretty much dead. I'm gonna head over to Starbucks and meet Drew, edit this video, and we'll move on from there. Grande hot. Is it this one?
I'm sorry?
No, I was just wondering if this was mine.
Oh, did you order the raspberry, the tall raspberry one, or the grande?
White mocha.
Yeah.
That's it? Alright, thank you, appreciate it. You too. Alright, so we finished up the row here. Switch that over, take this through, and rewind it. Crap, it's hard to do this one-handed, so I'm gonna do it off camera really quick. What's Gucci, y'all? Alright, so we're back at the house now, and I know I went over how to, I guess, take candid photos of the people on the street, but I want to get into a little bit more detail about it and just do a quick little recap, make it a little bit easier and simpler for you guys to understand. So I talked about the rule of thirds. I'm not going to really go over it too much, but once again, you have 4 points. The focal points are where the lines intersect. So you have 2 lines coming down here, and then you have 2 across. Where those lines intersect are the focal points. When you compose an image and you place them in that focal point, you're using the rule of thirds, and it's a little bit more attractive to the eye. Now, how does that relate in correlation to being able to take photos of people who are out on the street? Okay, so let's say, for example, that I'm gonna take a picture of you guys, all right? So now I'm pointing straight at the camera here, right? So obviously, if somebody's on the street and they see you pointing a camera at them and you snap a photo, you know, with the lens pointing straight at you, that's already gonna give away that you're taking a photo of them. All right, so now let's say I position you guys within the rule of thirds. I put you guys on one of the focal points on the left side, so 1/3 of the frame. Now, if I direct my eyes towards past them, and I also look around that way, maybe they'll have this idea that I'm not really taking a photo of them, but they don't know that we can't see them inside of our lens, inside of our camera. So, you know, looking straight down that way, not really paying attention to them, putting the camera up to your eye, composing them in the rule of thirds. Now, you guys don't probably know it, but I'm actually having you guys right in the center of the frame, right here. It's pretty close to the center at least, which is, you know, that's how you use the rule of thirds in order to get those candid shots. So I highly recommend you guys try that out. You know, use the rule of thirds and those focal points, place them in 1/3 of the frame, point your camera towards the direction past them, look past them, because that will ultimately give away the fact that you're not really taking a photo of them. Instead, you're directing your attention that way. And usually what will happen is, you know, they'll kind of guess you at first. They'll be like, he's taking a photo of me, he's taking a photo of somebody else. They'll look behind them like this, and once they make that turn around again, snap the photo instantly. You get a lot of great photos like that. I've done that before numerous times. You got to be careful though with the rule of thirds that you don't angle them outside of the frame. So for example, if they are in 1/3 of the frame here, you know, if there's negative space that way, you want them to kind of face this way. That's kind of like a portrait rule if you're using the rule of thirds. You want them to look down that way. You don't want them to be looking out this way because it's kind of breaking rules of the rule of third composition. But street photography is meant to break rules, and you can do whatever the hell you want with it. So just to recap, don't point the camera straight at them head on. Instead, use the rule of thirds, line them up in 1/3 of a frame. Angle your camera lens slightly past them, look past them, but you can still see them in your camera. Compose and snap the shot. It's simple, it's easy, and that's how I do it. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was a long one, but before I go, once again, we have some prints up on the website here. These are just a couple of them here. I got a new one actually today. that I'm putting up on the shop. I have a couple new ones, but these are all handcrafted. When I mean handcrafted, I mean I put them together, put them in the sleeves. They're signed and numbered as well. So if you guys want to purchase one, click the link down below at KingJvpesphoto.com. It's a big contribution and a big help to my YouTube channel, also to my photography and my art as well. So if you guys want one of these prints, feel free to go down below and click the link in the description. It'll lead you straight over to my website, and you guys can purchase these prints out there. I do ship worldwide as well. Alright guys, so I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys for tuning in to another KingJvpes video. Again, I mentioned earlier about the zine that I'm working on. I'm going to take you guys through the process of me shooting film, editing the zine, putting it all together, and then printing it. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. There's a lot of videos coming out in the future, and I just want to say thank you for the continued support, you guys. We are almost at 8,500 subscribers here on KingJvpes. So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Have a great one. And as always, Minolta gang.